Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 13. In this video, I'm going to explain a functionality called ETag in OData service. So ETag is nothing but entity tag. So it's a very old functionality or old methodology. Is nothing but lock object or lock mechanism. So in SAP, you people aware what is lock object and lock mechanism. If the same data is going to be modified by more than one user, so we have to hold or we have to just lock the object before modification. Once the modification of the first user is done, we are going to release it. Then the second user can be able to do it. So this will just avoid any inconsistency of the data in your database table. So same concept we are going to use or apply in OData level as well. So here code is, we are not going to do any coding here, meaning we are not going to do any kind of lock object coding in this OData service. So mostly we're going to use some header level information and we are going to declare one ETag property. System will take care. So this is actually a part one. So it's a very simple scenario I'm going to use an ETag functionality. It will come with different scenarios as well. Okay, so here the scenario would be I have a table and the table have a field called change time is nothing but a timestamp. So with the help of timestamp, I'm going to achieve the lock mechanism using ETag functionality in OData. Okay, let's see one by one. Okay, so ETag is nothing but lock mechanism. So it's very simple. There are multiple users. They're going to try to update or modify any single or same record. So we need to enable the lock mechanism for the particular users. Actually, for every users, then we can release it once the modification is done. Okay, this is a simple way of what we are going to do with ETag functionality. Scenario would be I have two users. So UI is something about user is from UI level, UI application level. Okay, so the user is going to update the same record. The employee ID is 123. So here I just make one custom table because it's a very simple scenario. With the help of a field called change time, it has timestamp. With the help of the timestamp value, I'm going to implement the ETag functionality. Okay, so the user is trying to update the location of an employee with a different time zones, different time frames. Okay, so let's see how we can lock it. So the functionality is the steps for both the users are they're going to, this is a little technical, so they're going to read the employee details first using the method called getEntity method, and they're going to modify the location details from the UI level, and they're going to send back the informations to the database table. So at the time they're going to use update entity. So here location is also going to change as well. The change time is also going to change. Okay, so modify the change time field as well. So the scenario is user 1 is going to read the data from the database table along with the timestamp field. So just look for 3401 minutes and seconds. Step 2, using update entity, they're going to change the location information along with the timestamp. So here is 3440. So same time, before the step 2 performs, of user 1, user 2 reads the data from the database table. So same location information along with the same timestamp 3401 for here also 3401. And what happens if you perform step 2? So before it update user 1 information, so user 2 is going to be updated with location C along with the timestamp if the lock mechanism or lock object is not in place. Okay, so data inconsistency may happen. So there are a lot of chances if there is no lock mechanism. So going forward, I'm going to use ETag. The terminology is not lock mechanism. I'm going to use the terminology called ETag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform a ETag for every select. So before step 1 or before updating, I'm going to perform a ETag. Okay. So the functionalities look like this. I'm going to introduce one more step on A, just for a reference. So user 1 is going to read the data, location A 3401, and I'm going to introduce a concept called ETag over here. So ETag is nothing but I'm going to use a particular timestamp or particular field value for my reference. Here the ETag value is change time. So I'm going to use the UI ETag value. So that is coming from database and the same thing 3401, right? So they're going to use this field as ETag value. So they're going to send this as one of the parameter while sending the update request to the database table along with the ETag value. So now I'm going to just check, not me, is automatically happening in the backend. They're going to check the ETag value and the database change time value, the particular field value is same or different. If it is same, then it will allow you to update the database table. If it is a different, then you will get an error message. Notly, technically call it as precondition failed. It's not error message, not a custom message. It's a standard message. It's shown very clearly precondition failed. Precondition failed means whatever value you are sending, the timestamp, it is not matched or it is not available currently in the database table. The reason may be it might be updated by some other user. So we are not able to process your request. You have to change, means you have to read the recent data from the database table and update it back again with the new ETag value. So ETag field may be anything. Mostly we go with the timestamp, or some scenarios they may go with the some randomly generated values. So in OData level we can generate randomly as well. Otherwise, if we have a timestamp, so it's well and good, we can go with the timestamp value. So hope this may be understand. So after step 1, or I can say before step 2, before update, this check is going to perform by system, OData system. Okay, so we are not going to do any coding here, just enable the ETag property, system will take care of rest of the things. Okay, so same thing is applicable for every user 2 as well. So before updating, this is going to perform a check between the ETag value and the DB value. Then if yes, update; if no, send a precondition failed. Okay, so a few more technical slides, then we'll go to the system. Technical steps, you have to create ETag field in the entity level. So every entity you have an option to create or assign an entity ETag property. And testing us, you can add if match. So maybe this is a little new for you because we are going to add a header level as a new line is called if match or if none match in the header of URI. In the URI part, you're going to add it. So what is if match and what is if not match? If match, so this is what we are going to use. We are going to check whether my UTag value, UI ETag value is going to be matched with the database. If none match, some scenarios, UI says, okay, let it be, I don't want this particular condition. So you can't ignore it, because once you enable the ETag property, you have to pass the information. Otherwise, it will lead to some other error. It's a kind of mandatory. So you enable a ETag property, you have to send a value. Okay, you can't ignore it. In some scenarios, UI field, okay, let it be whatever users, I want to update it even if it is not matched. In that case, you have to use a header field called if none match. Okay, if what happens is it will skip. Basically, it just skip the particular value. Even if it is not match your change time also, it will update into a database table. Okay, so we'll see both the scenarios. Expecting errors maybe is a new terminology. So it's like the data service request could not be completed due to conflict with the current state of the resource. This error will come. Suppose you're going to use a get method along with the if match option. If match option is for update and delete, not for get. These are some mistakes, right? So sometimes we added in the header, we try to do it in the get level itself, then you are getting this message. So this is I'm saying in the SAP gateway client levels, sorry, testing, not in the UI level. Okay, so UI mostly they will take care of it, but in the gateway level, you have to aware of it, what kind of issue it is. Another one, the data service is required to be conditional, meaning you have a ETag property, but you are not added the if match or if none match in the header level, then you are getting this message required to be conditional. And the final one is precondition failed. So this is the one which you use ETag value and the data value is not matching, then you are getting this information, precondition failed. It's nothing but else part. You are saying if match, so if it is match, update in the database. If it is not match, what is the else part? It gives an error, precondition failed. Everything is a standard message. We are not going to create anything, automatically it will trigger. Okay, so hope you have an idea about ETag now. I will show you in the system. So this is my table, custom table, a simple table, employee ID, name, employee location, and change time is the field which I'm going to use ETag in my OData servers. So if you see the data, I have two data, I believe. Yep. This is actually a date timestamp data element, so that's why it's saved here. So 2021 4 is a date and 11/1/25 is the time. So here is same date 11/30/10. Okay, I'm going to make use of the first record for my testing purpose. So now let us go to create a project. SEGW create ZGI ETag functionality. So ignore if any spelling mistake. So here it's very simple. Only the functionality you should aware. That's it. So there is no much coding involved in this scenario, in the simple scenario. So I'm going to import based on my table. So it's z ETag, just the name of my entity, and here it is ZJI EMP. Next, I want all the fields. Next, key field is my client and employee ID. Finish. Okay, this is the new step which we are going to do in the entity level. So go to entity, just double click the entity and go to change mode. Here you have an option called ETag property as ETag property here. Okay, so go to F4. Okay, I think I'm in the change mode. No, 1 second, sorry. Let it be. Change it. Yeah, I'm in a change mode. Against the entity, not the entity properties, against the entity, I'm going to have a ETag property. Just click F4. It will show you based on your fields, whatever you included in your entity, that will listed over here. Okay. So the basic one is if you want to make any ETag field, make sure that is part of your entity. So I'm going to use change time here. So if you open the properties, you can see whatever fields are available. So change time is also available. So I'm going to make ETag for one of the property in my entity. Okay, that's it. Only this we are going to do here and generate it. And few codes in our get entity and update entity method. Very simple code. It's done. So let me, yeah. Create the service first, then I'll go to the entity and update entity method. So from here itself you can able to register, just register it and local object. Next. Okay, it's done. Registration is done, means my activated my service. So now go to your runtime artifacts, enabled two methods. What is this? Okay, let me regenerate it again because of the service activation. Then go to DPC extension class and redefine your entity methods. Get entity set is not required anyway, it's going to be read only one data at a time. So I want get entity, so right click, redefine, and update entity, right click, redefine. Okay, that's it. Now go to get entity method. So based on the user input, I need to read the data from my database table. So you have a property, so read table. You can use a new syntax as well. So I'll just go the old one for easy reference. Tab into, oh sorry. Read table IT key tab. So all the key fields is going to be added over here into data WA It has only one, so I'll go with condition with index 1. So index 1. Okay. So then select single star from ZGI EMP. Let me close this. Okay, EMP into ER entity. So this is the one of the parameter in the signature. So ER entity is this is going to export parameter and it holds the data from your get entity method. So I'm using directly ER entity as a work area. Where EMP ID equal to so work area key tab value. So yeah, these are we have already seen. So I'm not spending much time over here. Update. Okay, using update as well. So just activate it. It's done. Okay, so you can change, you can use the recent syntax using value also. So the intention is I want to read the key value. So here key values is client and employee is a key value. So I have to read it. And in that I'm going to use the employee ID as one of the values over here. Okay. Okay. I need to do one more change over here. Okay. We'll do one thing. I will add that also. So that is easy for me, because otherwise I need to add one more var condition in the read select. So here it is value star key tab. I use this most, so I use the same one here. And here the condition is I want the name equal to emp id and value. Okay, the read condition index one, again I need to read the value of the particular employee ID. So instead of that I'm going to use this simple new syntax. This will take care. So keytab has two values now, MANDT as well as employee ID, two key fields. So this will take only the one. Again I have to do it, or with key I have to use it. So I will use this part now. So data employee ID equal to itab name equal to employee ID. So it will give the employee ID value here. Let me use. Yeah. So whenever you get a chance, go with new syntax. Okay, done. Next, I'm going to update it. Okay. Go to update. So here I need to read the value with the help of data provider object, IO data provider object. It has a read data method, so I need to read it. Okay, so what I can do is go with pattern, map objects, provider, and this is the one mgw entry provider, and it has a method called read entry data. So ES data is actually a reference, like type reference to data. It's a generic one. So I need to make use of the generic data with my declaration. So the declaration is already available in our MPC class. So this is also we have covered already. So don't worry about this. MPC class ext. It has the value ES tag employee. Okay. So here also we're going to read only one, right? Only one record at a time. Make use of update in my table from ES data. So we are done with the coding. So only these type of code we have to add for get entity and update entity. So this will work as expected. So now in the testing phase, so now go to service level, ETag over here. Go to SAP Gateway Client. Yes. Otherwise, you can go with the enter the transaction lengthy transaction maintain the service. Also, you can do it. Let's execute initially. Yeah, it's done. And go to ETag employee set, and I need to enter the value for key fields. Here it is MANDT, and employee ID is equal to 123. Okay, so I'm going to do get method. Okay, so here ETag is not required. So first I need to read the information. Yes, it's done. So here the value is 25. So 2021 44 11 01 25. Now I'm going to perform action without multiple users, only the single user, because we need to understand how to provide a if match, if none match, how the exception are coming. At the end, I'm going to open a two parallel sessions and I will execute. So first, I'm going to change this request to my input HTTP request using the option called use as a request. Okay. So this is the input file, right, for update. And then I have to change my HTTP method as put. Okay. Now I'm going to execute it. I didn't add the ETag value. You will see the error. Execute. So it says very clearly the request is required to be conditional. So meaning your ETag property or if match or if none match of the header is missing. One of the header value is missing. So go on the left hand side. This is your header area, HTTP request header area, and click add header. And here you can say if match, if match, and W. Normally people are saying it's a weak value. W is the format you have to give, and the slash. Okay, little careful. The format is like this. One second. So W caps. So this is very important because initially it will little confused. So how to give a value? W slash double quotes. Okay. Within double quotes, whatever the value you have to give, that is in a single quotes. So single quotes and the value, close the single quotes and double quotes. Okay. If you want to perform any function, that would be between double quotes and single quotes. So this will little extra work for us because to test our OData service. Otherwise, this will take care by the UI. UI, they will give the information. So we have to receive it and send it to the backend system. That's it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a date format. Okay. And again, the another one is you have to give some format because date format is a little different in the ETag category, especially for timestamp, not for a date and time. Timestamp, we have to give one function over here that is called date time. Okay, and the value, whatever you value. So what is the value I have to give? It should be available in my database table. This one 2021 44. Let me have the date first. Yeah, 2021, sorry, 2021 0404, sorry, 04-04, and time start with T. Okay, what's the time? 10. Okay, and there is a space actually between time and the sorry hours and minutes. There is a space or a colon, whatever it is. So here we have to give some readable format for the system. This is for our testing. So I have to give percentage 3a. Okay, and then what is the second? Minutes 01. Again percentage 3a and 25. Okay, so this is the input value you have to give in your if match header value. Let's go there. I'll again type it. So here double quotes date time. This is for date and time. If it any string value, or string value means randomly generated value, right? 16-digit GUID kind of. Then you don't want to give a string, date, integer and all. It's only for date and time. Double quotes, date and time, single quotes, 2021 -04 time t, and what is the value of the time? 10 percentage 3a 01 percentage 3a and then 25, single quotes, double quotes, enter. So here it's, so you're able to modify this. Okay, if you want to modify, you can be able to modify. Just double click or click the pencil button, you're able to modify it. Okay. Let me try. I am not changing anything over here. At least I want a success message. Then we can try to change the data. Execute. Precondition failed. So the value whatever I'm giving, it's not matched with my database table. 11 01 25. Okay, I missed it. So I mentioned 10 over here. Sorry. So it's 11. Okay, 11 01 25. Let's see. So precondition fail is nothing but the value whatever you are giving in the ETag and your database table field is not matching. Execute. Success. So if it is a 204 and it's an update entity, right? Always it gives a response, it's an empty body only. So now I'm going to change. So nothing changed in my database table because I didn't change anything in my request file. So let me change. Okay, I changed the location D. Okay, location D only. I'm going to change the location D as E, and I'm going to change the timestamp. So here it's manually, but it will take automatically. Let me have 30 instead of 25 and execute it. There is no change here. Okay. Execute. Success. Go to database table. Refresh. This should be changed from D to E and 25 to 30. Yes. E and 30. Now I'm going to execute the same. No change, nothing. I'm going to execute the same. Now it will give a precondition failed because the timestamp is 25 I'm sending, but if someone is already changed to 30, so the record is not available, whatever I read. So execute. Precondition failed. So you got it now, right? And one more point I'm going to add here. So it's like if none match, I decided, okay, whatever it is, let it add this time. So copy this, and I can modify this one, like modify the name of the header name. So I have to delete it. Let me delete this and add it again. If none match. So here also I'm giving the same value 25, but what is the value in my this? It's 30. Okay, I deleted. Oh God, I deleted something else. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay, execute. Yeah, it's worked. Okay, so it's worked because I used a header called if none match, meaning don't consider this because you have enabled the ETag property. It is a mandatory. You have to pass either if match or if none match. So now if I go to a table and updates, executes, refresh. Okay, I didn't change anything. I'm sorry. Let me change the location to F. Okay, but still it's 25 and 30 over here. Execute. Success message because I used if none match and refresh, change to F. I didn't change anything on the time. So I hope you got it. What is the ETag functionality? So let me do one thing. I don't have more than one user, but I can have more than one session. Just open and do the same. So this is my user one. Consider. Okay. And let me get it once again. Just go to get and execute. Okay. So it's read the information 400 123 A location F, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use put use as a request. So this is my user one. Okay, so user one read the information as 30. So I need to change this, delete, add it, if match, good. So what is the value? 30. 3A30. Okay, next. Okay, let it be. I'm not going to update now. Let me open another session. So let's say ABF G and probably it's 35, 5 seconds. Okay, okay, I didn't execute it. Let me open a session, system, new window. Execute filter ZGI. What's the name I give an ETag? Yeah, ETag servers. Okay, this is my user 2. User 2 also read the same data, MENDT equal to 400, employee ID equal to 123. Execute. So this also reads with 30. Use as request. And now I'm going to change location G to I. Okay, I'm trying. User 2 also trying. So this is put and add it. I just make everything ready, then we'll run. MET match. So here also user 2 also is the same one, 30. Okay, next. So both are ready. This is user 2 and I'll go a little slowly. This is user 1. Okay. Now user 1 is going to execute. Success. And user 2 is going to execute. Unable to make it parallelly. It's come precondition failed because the value of 30 is updated by user 1 in your database table as 35. Okay, so now user 2 and updated the location also. So user 2 either use a different entire ETag value or they have to use if none match. So let me go to user 2. Okay, actually they have to use get again. Okay, just imagine the get is already done. Okay, next and 35, right? 35 and execute it. So now it's success user 2 also and refresh. It's I now. Okay. So I hope this might be give a rough idea about what is ETag and how to implement the ETag in the OData level. So we have some other options also in the same ETag. This is very basic. Just go through this, play around. If you have any doubt, please let me know. I'm happy to help. See you in the next video. Bye.